name, Lee Win. I drive a 1983 AE86. It's commonly known as the Toyota Sprinter Terreno. Some people know it by its Japanese name, which is the Hachi Roku. Hachi meaning 8 in Japanese, Roku meaning 6 together, 8-6. I particularly like boxy cars, bricks on wheels, like fishes or birds that are meant to just glide through air. It's the car for me. It inspired an entire generation of the 80s and the 90s to drive in a particular way. It actually became a cult classic from the 90s and on. I guess I'd fallen into that groove that fell in love with it. So when the chance came where there was an opportunity for me to buy one, of course I jumped on an opportunity.
I like people who take care of what they own. They don't just buy something and then treat it like shit. I mean, how many countless people own a car and never, ever pop the hood of their car? Kids from the late 2000s watching Fast and the Furious, and the next year, a bunch of wannabe car people. That's crazy to me. And people have very specific tastes to what they either grew up with. So I think the car scene is a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right. I'll just move this one back a bit. When I restore a car to be exactly as it came out of the factory, wow. So that's the console, you know, stuff like that is ready, but yeah, everything's been redone, even the lettering, everything. So here's the difference between a Phillips and a Posi drive.
It grips better.
Yeah, and here's the difference between an American bolt and this is a British bolt. So now I'll know from that piece, then I can make that shape. Take the pattern, make it look like that. A stretcher and a shrinker.
Yeah.
You see it move a bit?
Yeah.
And then I shape it.
Great.
And then you just weld it on. And see here I have a dent here. You put your dolly underneath and you hammer wherever. Say if I'm low here, underneath, I wouldn't use this one. I would use something maybe more flat a bit. Like I would have it off. I would push here, but I would hammer here.
My friend had lent me his immortal mask, and I decided to drive around wearing this immortal mask the entire way to the park. Of course, I got pulled over. I don't think that the police knew that it was a right-hand drive car, so I waved them over onto the right side. They were speechless. They thought that it was funny. They commended me for my efforts. So after they had taken off in a different direction, I put the mask back on. I guess I've always loved cars. I became an enthusiast when I was 17 when I bought my first A86. I got another 86. This one was right-hand drive and it was less rustier than the one that was previously stolen. Brother suggested that I put a body kit on it. And the body kit would of course not be made of metal, so it couldn't rust. So the body kit that I had actually chosen was from Japan, but by the time I wanted to order that body kit, they had closed down. There was also Duluck Canada. They had gone out of business, so I had to contact Duluck Japan. So that involved having to get my Japanese friend to translate late at night. So it took several months for the pieces to come in. We were able to get everything back on the road. Now hopefully they'll stay rust-free for several years to come.
I think it was in Carmen. They had all kinds of different categories, you know. Engine smashing contest, and for $5 you could hammer it. Burnout contest and stuff like that, you know. Stupid. And then they had a car show, best Chevy, best Mopar, best Ford, best truck. We will leave those undignified pursuits to
the circuses
and those who wear baseball cap with flames on it. It came here partially redone. The customers from Dauphin.
Yes.
The guy's a doctor. He's a good doctor, but he's not a welder. This is steel, this is aluminum.
Okay.
There's too much here, so all has to be twisted in.
Right.
The fender is correct. So as I twist this in, this will come out. See, all this has to line up those lines. This car had been hit in the back.
Yeah.
This side was good. This side was a 1/4 inch too low. I had to cut it here, fabricate a new piece, weld it on, so it's imperative that all this lines up properly. That car hasn't been started in 23 years, but it's going to get started in the next 2 days.
I was going out to my first cruise night, and I had started taking photos of cars.
I noticed someone taking pictures of my car.
There was a lot of nice stuff coming through.
And I instantly became very paranoid because this was during a time where the VIU rampant.
I saw this 86 Toronto in black, and I was like, oh sweet, this is one of my favorite cars. I had to set my camera on the ground to take a long exposure.
And I walked over and I asked him what the pictures were for.
So as I was doing that, this girl comes up with high heels. She's wearing a blazer and a skirt.
With any kind of newspaper, if these were getting published.
And she puts her high heels, she opens the door and puts her high heels in the back seat.
So I calmed down a little.
Who's this chick? I thought you were old, like you had kids. She wanted to know if I wanted to take some photos next weekend. And I said yes. Met up the next week. And that was it.
And I think we've been inseparable ever since.
The fun in it is to start it. First ride on the road, you know, everything, you know, from the exhaust system and everything is just, you got all kinds of different smells and everything, but everything runs well. That's just,
That's the
that's
biggest
fun.
reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owning a car should be something special to you, and because the car that you own reflects your personality. And I think that there's a car for everyone.